Hello, it's Shantae again from Stitching Hearts Embroidery, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to put together one of my newest in the hoop patterns. It is a composition notebook cover. And so a composition notebook is, just a regular notebook. This one is from Wally World, and it says composition book, and it's their brand, Pen and Gear. Now, all of the composition books are not going to be Pen and Gear, but they just say composition book. It's not a mini, it's not a different A something size. It's just a regular composition book, like a standard book. This one has minky dust on it, but and so I'm going to put this together. So I have another video where I used my jumbo hoop for the bi mirror. And when you use that hoop, you put this together just like this in one hooping straight across. It ends up laying across your hoop just like this, right? But if you have a more like an 11 by 7 or 8 by 12 hoop like this, as you can see, the design is too big to fit in that space, right? And so it has to be put together in multiple hoopings. And so the way I have this set up is it's going to be 3 hoopings. It is a front cover, a back cover, and then the spine. And when you do the spine, you attach the front and back cover. So there's like a satin stitch that's going to run a zigzag stitch and hook one side, and then you're going to butt the other side up there, and the satin stitch is going to hook that side. Now, all 3 hoopings show up in just one design, right? And so when you look at your machine, when you bring that in, it's gonna be steps like 1 through 9, or just the completion of the front cover. And then after that, you change the hoop, you take it out of the hoop, set it to the side, re-hoop, do the back cover. Once that's done, you put it to the side, and you're gonna do the spine. And so that's 3 hoopings. I did this one last night, and somewhere in there, my phone ran out of storage, and it just cut off, and I wasn't looking, I was working, and then I just scrapped it. So this is the one that I did last night. This is what I'm calling, it has teacher icons on it. So there's like a coffee cup and a notebook and a globe and heart and some things. And then for this one, I used a faux leather binding. I'm looking at that because I kind of like that for this one too. I have a purple out, but I'm not sure. I definitely change my mind midstream often. And so I always say, I put all the stops in, especially when I first start when I first do a pattern for the first time. I will put lots of stops in there so that I can stop it and change the color or change my mind somewhere in there. I'm looking because I feel like I see a reflection. It's my blinds, but I think it's just in the back of my phone. So I'm going to keep going. I think all is well. So we are going to get going. I have it hooped. I actually added a little patch and a name that's going to be on the front cover. This is for my youngest granddaughter, Kendall. I cut some little bootleg tabs. They are not finished, even though I have made a design for the finished tabs, but I probably won't have the time to test it and add it to the listing. It'll come with the pattern until this weekend. So I've still been working on making sure everything is smooth with what I have. And then I have this piece. What did I say? I'm gonna put some little tabs. I'm gonna put this little heart locket. It's a little locking key, and that's what the tabs are for. Does not really lock it, though I am looking for a solution to adding the lock. If you saw my previous video, I made one for my grand twins, and they are in love with the little locks, the little lock and key thing, and the little tab, even though it's just kind of flimsy. It's not really locking anything secure, but just the idea of them having their little personal lock. And so for my youngest granddaughter, I'm gonna put one on hers too. And then I have this piece of faux leather that's going to be for the patch, her name on the front. So I feel like this could be like a baby kind of junk book. I'm not sure what my daughter is using now, like keeping information, but you can just never have too much. I don't know what she could write something in here, milestones or something, or take pictures, or even news articles from the times of her, these months of her growing or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna make it. I am using my Minky from Shannon Fabrics. I am addicted to this stuff right now. And so this is the teddy bear Minky, and it is the same design that I made her blanket for her baby shower. And so it was Minky and a kind of a mid purple lavender kind of color, and I ran out, so I'm going to use dots. I ironed these dots, and so for the real Minky users and quilters, don't come after me. I know that dots don't really like to be ironed, but I put some Heat and Bond light on the back, and I'll show you why. So this is going to be the lining of the cover. These two panels are going to be the front and back, and these two are going to be the pockets. It's a pretty simple design. I have one not put together, and this is it. So it's the front panel. This is the one with the butterflies. It's the back panel, and so the front and back panel both have a pocket. And then it's this middle panel, and then just what I said, I ironed that Heat and Bond light on the Minky to put a lining and iron that lining down. I just really like the feel of once you finish to iron it. So for the rest of the Minky, I did not use Heat and Bond light, right? Only on that panel. But when I did it with the quilt cotton, I did, let me show you. So for something like this, I put Heat and Bond light on all the parts, and it actually feels really, really good. And I made a real tab for it with the snap that I never put the snap on yet. But so let's get going. I have my first, I have my first piece hooped, and as I was saying that, I realized I don't remember hooping. So I said no show mesh. I have 3 pieces cut. Probably way more than I need. I am not a measurer most of the time. I kind of just fly by the seat of my pants. I get it done though. And so I do a lot of guesstimating, I guess is really what I do. So here it is. This is my no-show mesh first hooping. My design is already pulled up. I have all of my stops in here, and the color is going to be, oops, I forgot that. I see I didn't pull it through. It's going to be that number 10, that purpley kind of same, not quite lavender, not quite dark purple. I believe I just have a white bobbin in there. There is no parts to show that I can think of that I really need to worry about putting in my color bobbins. But when I'm embroidering, and especially making my in the hoop designs, I need to, when I go like this, it means I'm looking for my glasses. And so I need my glasses. I'm going to thread this. I don't use my threader most of the time. It is not even broken either, but sometimes it misses, and I am more upset when it misses, and I feel like it's just fast enough for me to just do that. So I was saying, I use color bobbins, and so I will show you really quick. I use all the colors, and so these are Field Tech bobbins. And in my hand, I have red, orange, and lavender. And so whenever you see me doing a bag tag, these are the size for the Brother 10 needle. Whenever you see me doing a bag tag, I'm gonna say they are L bobbins. I believe it's L is the size. Just like the Field Tech magnetic bobbins when you buy black and white, they do have all the colors. I have brown, red, royal blue, gray, navy blue, a beige, very little pink left. I need to do an order. But I don't think there's anything showing. And so I don't like to waste the colors because you definitely pay a little more for the colors. So if it's not going to show, then I don't worry about it. So first step, I forgot my batting. So I put cotton batting because there is a quilt pattern that's going to run on there. So I put a piece of batting under the front panel, then I put a piece under the back panel, and then I'm putting a piece under that spine. Even though there's not really anything running on there, when you're doing the design on the buy, there is a pattern that runs on that spine. But so far in the designs that I've made, I have not put a design on that spine. I think I will in the future, so just something I need to put a pin in. So I'm gonna get going. Number 10 is gonna run placement to let me know where to lay down my batting. So let me grab my batting. It's right here, right across the room looking at me, wondering why I didn't get it. And then I need about, I believe the instructions tell us to get 8 by 12, and that's being pretty generous. I just don't want, once you do it a couple of times, you can determine how big of a piece of all the materials you need based on, whatever your habits are. And so not wanting to waste some. And so this will fit. It's a little wide, but it's covering all of the lines. So this is perfect. I'm gonna cut this. I don't want it hanging off and possibly flipping backwards while I'm not paying attention. And so that is the batting. Is gonna tack it down. And then I'm gonna cut around the batting because I don't want all that batting in my stitch lines. I don't want it sticking out. I just don't want it there. So pretty quick. This says it's 44 minutes, but that's because I have Kindle, I have the applique. It usually, I'm not sure, I'll have to look what it says. I think the name adds on about 10 minutes. So it's a pretty heavy satin stitch name. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, and so there it is. It is the tack down for the batting, and I'm just gonna quickly cut around here. No fuss, no muss. Just to keep it out of the seam line. And we're just gonna get going. When you are making this, I suggest that you have a composition book handy. And so based on the way that you rotate this in your hoop, like if you are putting wording or some kind of something extra on the back, like I've thought about quite a few things to put on there, then you wanna make sure that you are orienting it the right way. It is very forgiving because both sides are made the same way, right? You could easily flip it, but I can think of some instances where you really need to make sure that you're turning this the right way. These bears are, they are not directional, and so we're gonna tack that down. And we are just tacking it. I'm gonna eventually clean it up in the end, but for right now I'm just gonna cut off this overhang. I always seem to have that problem when I leave something hanging over and then I'm busy and doing stuff and it flips in and gets stitched. And so I'm pretty cautious. I kind of do a lot of unorthodox things, but that thing I'm pretty cautious about. And so I don't want this piece slipping inside and getting in my way. And so now it's going to do the quilting pattern. And so that is quite a bit of stitching too. So I'm doing the quilting in white. And so I told you that I changed my mind midstream. And so it is flower, it is a daisy and hearts. Now I thought about doing like bears or something, but I don't think that you'll see it very much because this is the Shannon Minky, I believe it's called digital, so it has the design on it. I don't think you'll really see it, and I just want some quilting on it. So hearts and daisies fit well, and I'm using the white. I don't want it to stand out too much. So I'm gonna let that run. That might be 9 minutes of quilting. And so then we'll be back. Okay, the quilting is done. I'm gonna see if it'll show up. And so it is white on white. Maybe you can see some of the daisies. This is one of my very first tries at red work or quilting without just following someone else. Now, my software of choice is Embroidery Legacy. If you talk to me at any amount of time, you will hear that. I do run a school community where we learn all things in the hoop. And so of course that spills over to digitizing and learning software. And so I am able to teach in a couple of other ones, but my choice for digitizing is Embroidery Legacy. I started with the Inner Circle when they started more than a year ago. And I have been riding with them and it has been a wonderful ride. And so I just finished the red work lesson, and whenever I finish a lesson, it catapults me so far ahead. I always think that I saw the light, right? Like I got this. And then I do one of these master classes, and then there's another whole light shining. So it has been good. So right now I have Minky coming over me. Right now I am working through John Deere's master class on digitizing fonts. So you guys just wait. I don't know how long it's gonna take me though, because it's quite a few hours. It is step by step. It's all the theory in there, and it is the way I learn. I need it. I love it. I'm moving through it. But let's get back to what we're doing. I don't even know why I started that. I was talking about red work, and I finished the class. So my next step is putting down a patch. I just added that to the design, and so it added these few steps in there. And I encourage you, not just if you're doing in the hoop, but if you are embroidering at all, to learn about understanding your steps, your software, moving stuff around. Those are all of the basic things that we have learned in Stitching Hearts Embroidery School. First off is just how to move things up and figure out what your design is saying, is telling you to do, what steps are next, how to change steps, changing colors, moving stuff around. Like all of those are really basic when you are digitizing. You just want, or not digitizing, when you are embroidering. And so you just want to be able to manipulate your designs, your software. And so I did not put this this patch on here in the design, but I can help walk you through it if you need that help. Reach out to me if you need to figure out how to get a name, if you want the name on a patch and exactly what you need to do. Okay, and so that was the placement stitch for that, or tack down stitch for the patch. Let me show you. And so it's just gonna be, so this will be the front cover, The spine will be here and the back cover will be over there. So I am putting white around that, just not to have so many colors. And so that's just going to give a satin stitch. And I'm just thinking about it. I did not make that stitch any larger. I'm going to stop it. And I'm going to make sure that I'm cutting really close. Usually, if I'm making it, I see a little stick out. If I'm doing an applique design, I will change the inset a bit, especially the designs that I sell in my store. And it's one of the ways, or one of the things that helps your design come out really nice, even when your scissors aren't acting right. So I did not really look at this one. I use the applique button in the Legacy software to just put it on there. So whatever that default was, I probably would have made it a large zigzag stitch to kind of give it a little hand finish look, but I wanted to get this done. I already was in a little, I don't know, about the fabric. So I wanted a lighter minky fabric. So kind of a different purple. It's the one that I use for the blanket, I believe. Yep, and I don't have any more, or my scraps are somewhere else, and I need to get this done. I need to get this video done. And so I am trying to use what I have, even though I'm not a use what I have or kind of person. I am always running. And so I'm here in Vegas, and I run myself to So Yeah, which is like our Minky distributor. I don't know, it's our Minky store. It is the store that has 1, 2, 3 long aisles of double stacked Minky fabric, Shannon Minky fabric. And so I can almost see the color. I know exactly where it is that I want to use on this. And so, but if I had gotten in the car and drove way over there, then this video would have been for tomorrow. So I am just using the purple that I have. This is what I like to use. This is the quilt cuddle, and so it is a lower pile, I think they would call it, and it doesn't get quite all over the place like some of this other. Okay, so my patch ran, and it has a satin stitch around it. It's looking really good, and I'm going to put the name on. And so I'm going to use the same white stitching for the name, and that may take a little bit. It's going to be 4 minutes for the name. I used a built-in font for this because I'm just moving. I did not want to take the time to choose a font and digitize the font and do all the things. So I used a native font from Legacy software, which we call them ELF fonts. Embroidery Legacy fonts, or ELF, E-L-F. And so, yeah, it's just a regular like block font. But I am sure I didn't add anything to it. I didn't need to change the any compensation. I don't need to worry about push and pull. I am confident that it's going to stitch out flawlessly, the name. And so, but it is on some leather and some quilting and some batting, so hopefully I'm not overly confident and it stitches out well. It looks like it so far. So, once the name stitches, it's going to give us 2 little lines. And so this long part, this name is not, in the pattern. Once it gives us the 2 spots, then I'm going to lay my pocket down, and I'll show you just how to lay it. And it's going to stitch, so the fold will be in. This is folded in half, and it's going to stitch around and tack it down. So it's going to be sitting on top, but by the end of this, we're going to flip it over, and that's what's going to make our pocket on the inside. This is going really fast. So we are 2 minutes in, so that means I've talked for 2 whole minutes. And so we might as well just keep this going. We are on the D, and we have an ALL to go. It is looking pretty good. I like it. It's just really simple. I usually probably would not have picked a block font. I would have picked something a little more kiddish, like maybe one with the dots on the end, or something, something a little crooked like, since the bear is kind of just hanging out in all different directions. But I need to get done. I just needed to pick something quick. So this is going, and then I will say I am looking for testers. So I have a backlog of designs that I cannot really push forward because I need some in the hoop testers. So if you have experience teaching stitching in the hoop designs, you have some nice photos, you're good at taking photos, and you are interested in helping me to push some of these designs out, I welcome you. Get in touch with me. The compensation, of course, is the free designs, and then you would be a honorary member of my school community. You would have access to the folder that is the testers course within the classroom, and that's where the designs would be. I'm pretty easy. I just need some help. I need another set of eyes, experienced eyes. And so I definitely have a lot of stitchers within the community, a lot that are beginners. They are learning and moving fast, and so I feel like, pretty soon I'm going to have a lot of testers. But then some community members who have some experience, they don't really have the time, or it's just not really their desire to test. And so I was a tester for a long time, and I really feel like that I got a lot of in the hoop experience from testing. So let me know, reach out to me. And so this is the name, and as I said, it is flawless. There's my machine, it left one little part I need to cut, so I'm gonna stick this back on here. It's gonna give me my 2 little, you know what it's gonna give me? I'm sorry. It's gonna let me put my little homemade tab on there. So it is giving me a placement stitch, and I did it in white. And so just like with anything, if you're making bags or anything, you always know that your tab is I model it this way. That's where I want it to sit. And so I'm gonna flip it over, and it was right about here. And I'm gonna just let that, I better hold it with something else, or you guys are gonna come at me in the comments for having my fingers in there. And so the tack down is just a small little stitch. It's okay if it does not go all the way across, because the next step is going all the way around, which is laying our, I want to see which way to lay this. Let's see. It's gonna be, yeah, this way might be better. So now it's gonna give me the 2, I wanted to change that color back to 10. I can't see the white. I'm not going to be able to see the little, the little stitches that I have on there. If this was, I'm thinking if this was a non-fraying material, we really could get by without holding it. just having it one piece. I'm always just thinking of something else. So I'm gonna pull this out so that I can see those parts. I am laying this with my folded edge on those two little lines that it just made me. My excess or my raw edge is hanging off over there. And once, if you have done some in the hoop kind of designs like, you know, similar to this, then you understand why. Because we're gonna flip that over and it's gonna be the pocket. So I'm gonna put it back, okay, and make sure that it did not move anywhere. And I'm gonna run the tack down around it. It's gonna go around. And so again, I said like that little tab, even though my tab is wider than the one. Did I run out of bobbin? I did not check before we started. I am using bobbin scraps, and I have been doing this for about a week. So I'm gonna back up about 10. I'm using bobbin scraps because there are certain, especially satin stitch designs, like if you're making shirts or something, I do not want that bobbin to run out at any cost. Like I need it to make sure, yep, I think it's good. And so I have often over some years taken out that not finished bobbin, and I have a place. So now I have a jar full basically of unused bobbin scraps that I have been intentional these last couple of weeks of getting rid of. And I do see that the pile is going down, so it's doing well, but I'm having to change my bobbin more often. Most of them are probably a third, only 1/3 of the bobbin left. So making sure, okay, this is done. I'm gonna pull this off. And here it is. Here's my pocket that eventually will flip around to the back. This is double. This is the raw edge. This is my tab hanging out. And I'm gonna pop it out. I'm gonna sit it to the side. Before we move on in a little bit, I need to, yep, it's gonna flip that way. So I have to reorient myself too. That's why I said I would recommend that you get a composition cover, and especially if you're doing any extra stuff, adding any words, any verses, any sentiments on the front, on the back, adding any designs, that everything is going in the right direction. And so I just keep rechecking because I know that I am directionally a little bit challenged. And so so this is still the same pattern here. I just know it's showing me the placement again for that batting. So now we're doing the back panel. I have my scrap batting fabric here that I'm going to chop a piece off of. I hope it's big enough. We're gonna see how well I guesstimate. Perfect. It fit. Okay. There's some scrappy crumbs on there. I'm going to tack it down, cut around it, lay my panel on there, and this side, I did not put the quilting on the back panel. You are more than welcome, and that's something that we learn in the school community, how to manipulate that design to make it your own. So you would be able to take that same quilting pattern from the front of your design and move it to, copy and paste it, and move it to the place that it would need to be to end up also on the back of the design. Or if you wanted to put some names or Bible verse or somebody's birthday or some special saying that that you have with somebody, you know, I could definitely help you through how to do that, how, you know, where to put it and how to move that around in your software. I dabble a little in most of the softwares. Definitely enough to move things around, to do some lettering, that kind of stuff. So this is quickly just cutting around. I need a trash can. I have a little piece of tape so I know that my hoop is going back in the right direction. And what do I need? I need the panel. So I'm going to look and see. So I'm gonna model this again, right? So I know that this is the front cover. The name is down here. So on my composition book, it has to be back there. So this, actually, yeah, for this one, I'm just trying to figure out which way I want all these bears to go and where I want them to kind of like come in. So I think if I move it down, I get an extra, let me see, bear head there, and it'll be cut right there. I think this is good. I'm gonna flip it. Let's see. Because the bears are not directional, so I'll see his head. It was better this way. There is some salvage on this side, and so it's a little bit giving me a little better placement. You see his face, his face, his face. Yep, this is the way. I'm gonna cut it. I told you I don't like that hangover. It has, I even did it making these, and one of my covers has a, it has some extra fabric tucked under. So I'm gonna tack that down. It's gonna be quick. It's a 1 minute tack down. We are going to put our other little tab on because I wanted 2 tabs. So there, that is what I need to think about too. So I can tell by the direction of the tack down for the pocket which way my pocket's gonna go. So I am on step 16. I'm gonna go down. Wait, I'm gonna go down. Oh, it is wanting to tack over here. It's wanting to tack over here. That's perfect. That's exactly right. So if it tacks my thing over there, my spine's in the middle, the other side's over there. I have to keep thinking about that. I do. Once I make this so many times, I won't have to anymore. It'll just, so this is gonna give me a placement. I'm gonna model this tag. I want it just like this, and I'm gonna flip it over upside down. The tag that that I said I'm adding in the design, man, you still can't see that. There it is. So there is there it is. Man, oh man. So we're gonna do it like this. It is really going to be a very non-functional little thing, but I'm gonna put it in case. I figure out what I can do with it. Yeah, perfect. Okay. And now it's going to give me the 2 little lines to lay my pocket. So this panel is done. This panel probably takes 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. And again, I am laying my panel with the fold toward those 2 lines, or toward the middle of my design. It's going to tack it down along the edge, which is this. It's tacking the pocket down along the outer edge. And so I just keep that in mind, keep it at the front of my mind as I'm making this, just in case. You know, sometimes we might bring our design in and flip it the other way or anything. And so I just stay oriented to which way. Man, I sure put some little bitty lines. Is that it? There it is. I see it. Most of you would probably see it better than me. And so now it's going to tack it down. It's going to go around it twice. And we can be getting this one ready. So for this first panel, we're just going to cut around the square panel. So let's see. You guys see? So I'm starting at one end, not too close, but just very forgiving. Like this is going to flip around and tuck under, and none of this will show. What I don't want to do is cut my stitch lines. So. That was a piece of thread. You do want to get rid of extra corners if you have them, but I won't do it at the expense of cutting a stitch line. So, but I see that I have some space I can get rid of. Okay. So there's one. I will show you when you flip it out. This is what it's going to look like. There's the pocket, right? There's the front of the cover. There's my little my little bootleg tag. But we're not doing that yet. We're not flipping it yet. I just was excited, wanted to show you guys. And so we're taking this one off, and I see the spine, that little rectangle right there. So I'm gonna hoop again. 3rd time. We're gonna, that little spine probably takes 2-3 minutes to stitch, and all of the time is going to be taken up doing the satin stitch around. That's going to hold it all together. So there's some extra satin around there. I just wanted to make sure that it's nice and safe, that it won't be falling apart. So there's more than enough. So we're going to run placement. We're going to put our piece of batting. And though I'm not quilting on it, you definitely can. And again, that's something that we can work through, talk about, learn. You know, we do in the school community. You can add some there. And I do have designs that'll come out in the future that'll have some. I think this was short. My cutting may have come to not so good place right now. So nice placement right on the no-show mesh. Oh no, it's good. We're gonna tack it down, and then we need a piece of fabric. We are putting the minky dots that I've lost. Here it is. So we're putting the dots on that edge. Wondering if I should have put some heat bond, but I don't think so. I think it's gonna be just fine. So we're going to clean up the batting. Again, we don't want all that batting in our stitch line, sorry. Let's see, where's my piece of tape? So we're gonna pull you back around. We're gonna lay our piece of minky, and I'm gonna lay it so that I can have the most left over. I have a minky scrap drawer over there, and yes. So even though I am not the best cutter, I do try to preserve my scraps. So this bear fabric, I don't think there are really any intact bears, but definitely if I'm using some smaller design, and you can see the characters or something on there, I'm going to save it. I have a cotton strap drawer too. So this is ready. I just realized, so I'm gonna cut. I fixed a problem and made another. That was gonna keep going, and we need to stop and cut. So, if you are watching this video and you have already downloaded before I put the video out, while the video is uploading or whatever it needs to do, processing, I will be fixing that. Oh my goodness. I don't care how many times I check, and double check. I really need more eyes. Man. Okay. So, here it is. Sometimes I don't cut it so close because the next thing we need. So it was going to keep going, and I could see it's doing this side first. I can tell by my picture too. And so I need my panels. I need this one first, which is going to be the back panel. So I'm just going to cut right around here. For this design, nothing goes on the back of the hoop. So remember that. Nothing goes on the back of the hoop. This whole design is going to be on the top, and we're just going to do some magic. We're going to do some flipping and turning to get the pockets right, to get the lining right, to get all the parts in the right place. And so let's snip the corner. Okay. And so I'm going to look at this. I see my tab is in there. It needs to go this way. So this panel is going to go here. And that's me auditioning again. This one, there's my tab. It's going to go on this side. So it's going to do one side at a time. I hope you guys can see that. Let me show you again. I have my back to you. So it's going to tack this to that panel right there. It's going to give us a nice stitch, and it's going to tack that to that panel. We're going to flip the pockets out, and we are done. And so you want to butt it up super close with 0 gap. So you don't want a lot of overhang, but you don't want any gap in between these two pieces. So this, I didn't cut so neat across here. I almost want to try to line up my two seams And so you just want to butt it right up there, and I push it on top a little bit. So I do not have my hands in the hoop, so don't fuss at me. It is going to, you can use a piece of tape on here. So it's just going to tack this first piece down. And there is more than enough satin stitch that is going to cover up all those edges. It's going to be just fine. So it's giving a big, wide zigzag stitch, and that is what, you know, the first thing that's holding it down and together. And for those of you who are not directionally challenged, if you make this, or if you already see and hear what I'm talking about which way, like I have to audition the things all the time. I have to put it down, I have to flip it, I have to kind of look. And that's for most of the patterns that I do. I think the only thing that I do really with my eyes closed are those zipper bags, and that's just because I made the number too big to count of them. But most things, I audition it, and I have to figure out which way to lay it. If I'm laying legs or arms or, you know, even the head, I put it there and I try to think if it was flipped over, which side it would be. So if you have a better way to explain, I have a movie on my face, to explain or share, you know, like put your pattern in and make sure to rotate it to the east or the west or whatever it is, then leave me a comment and let me know, and I will definitely add that to instructions that might help someone else. And so I just say audition, audition, audition. So this is going to be 15 minutes. Is it 15 whole minutes? Yeah, this satin stitch is no joke, because there's two. Oh, this is 2 minutes coming. So we have 2 more minutes of this. There are 2 satin stitches on each side. So there's a zigzag tack down, and then 2 full, pretty dense satin stitches that's holding together. They are holding it to this no-show mesh and holding the 2 pieces together. So I will be back in a few minutes. I'll definitely want you to see me align that second part on here. Okay, I am back. It is going well. So I'm bringing it up close. So I butted this panel up against there, and it gave me a zigzag to put it together, and then these 2 satin stitches. I put 2, so one's running that way, and so just in case your scissors aren't acting right and it's a little stick out or you didn't get it quite close enough, there is a backup plan. And so, yep, and so the next part, here is this one. I know my name, the name is right there. This is the bottom of the bag. When I fold this closed, this will be the front, and I'm just gonna butt it right up against. I want it to overlap just a tiny bit. So I have been doing this. This is probably maybe my 9th bag, 8th or 9th cover, something like that. I am gonna grab a little piece of tape, but I don't feel like this tape has been working well on my Minky, that paper tape that I usually use. And so I just know that though I don't use a lot of tape, I am not gonna be able to like properly hold that. And so I'm gonna hold it while I'm putting it back on the hoop. Let me see if I can show you what I did. So that it's lined up and there's a little bit of overlap. If I put it in here and it gives that first zigzag stitch, and I feel like So see how it's pushing because it's hitting the back of my hoop. I just need to pull that up. And then just double check. I always audition. I check, and double check. See where it is. It looks really good. It's a little forgiving because we're going to put that other little panel on and fold everything out, and so it's going to be good. So now we are going to I don't know why I did not put stops in there. That's why it didn't stop, which is good to know that it was just me. I went through and put all my stops in and I missed these last couple of steps. So it is giving the zigzag, it's giving a contour stitch. So it's going around and then it's going to do the zigzag. So it's pretty wide zigzag. Make sure everything's tight back here. And we are definitely coming to the end. So this looks like it's going to take, the total amount is saying 8 minutes. So that's 1 minute for this zigzag and it must be about 7 minutes for the 2 satin stitches. And I don't run it fast, I'm running it pretty slow. Just because I do enough stuff, I'm not in a hurry, I enjoy what I'm doing, and I just take my time. I run my machine like I run my car, I'm like Miss Daisy, so. Yep, that's doing really good. Perfect, so I'll be back. Okay, we are coming in for the finish. It has 3 minutes left. I hope you can see it's giving that second satin stitch. And so if you can tell, the first satin stitch, you can see a little bit of the white minky sticking out on the side. And so that's what prompted me to think, instead of putting a wider stitch, I decided to do 2 slightly overlapping smaller stitches. So it may take a couple of extra minutes to stitch out, but it adds a little bit of character to the spine. You know, it gives that little little dent in between. They're just slightly overlapping. And as opposed to putting a wide stitch with a carve or something in the middle, I just think this way works. You could stop the machine if you needed to and trim up, you know, with it being like this. And so we will see. Let me know when you make it how this all works out for you. So we are 2 minutes left. I'm going to back you up. Uh-oh. Turn this out. It's not catching the light. Oh, I am saying we're done, and there is one more step. We need to put that that minky, the dots. This is a 1 minute stitch step. This is 1 minute. So, though I said we were done, we were not quite done, but we're almost done. We're coming in. We're going to put a manual stop because I did not stop in between these. I don't know. I thought that I went through and put all the stops, but I was probably talking and I stopped short of doing them all. Okay. Let me show you. So this is the cover with the pockets flipped out. You very well could leave it like this and not put this lining piece that I'm going to put. You really will not see the lining because the composition cover will be, you know, on that part. But I'm going to go all the way. And so for the lining, there is a piece. This is way more than even the pattern calls for. I think it's supposed to be around 7 inches wide, so it would just be the width of your hoop. I guesstimated and I didn't do good that time. And so, like that. And so what it's gonna do is it's gonna give a line across the top and a line across the bottom. We are laying it good side, right side, pretty side down on top of your design. I think the instructions say just center it on top. Just if you do the 7 inches, just center it on top. Let's, oh, my cover went down in the hole there. It's just gonna go right across and stitch a line across the top and a line across the bottom. When you are doing this design on the buy, you do get a full lining. For this one, our lining is, we have some constraints because the hoop is not, of course, this wide to come all the way to the end. So this lining only covers that center open portion. That's why I said just center it. Did I put that on the right side? Yes. I didn't check my tape. Now we are done. We are done. And I'm excited. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do, we're taking it off. Remember I said we're gonna put this wrong side up, right side down on top of your hoop. Nothing in this design goes on the back of your hoop. I am going to bring you guys in and I'm going to trim first this piece. So just trimming it off so that when we flip our bag on the outside, on the right side, you don't have all this extra. So I said, remember, center it on the hoop, and we're just trimming just right up. We had already trimmed our panels, so just pretty close up to the panels without cutting your bag. And then we're also gonna trim. So if you see this, the stitches only go from there to there, right? We were under the constraints of the size of the hoop. And so I'm just gonna trim straight up there. I'm not gonna cut my pocket. I'm gonna be careful, but just so that we don't have all of this extra folding over on itself. I'm gonna show you. And that's why I put the heat and bond on it. You could cut straighter than that. But so that once I flip it, I'm just going to iron it down. Yep, you guys could do better, especially if you cut it straight to begin with. You may not even have any left over to cut. So we're gonna pop it out of the hoop. How long have we been? 1 hour, and that's with a lot of talking and about 15 minutes of satin stitch that we paused for. So I'm just cleaning off some of this no-show mesh. So the no-show mesh that's hanging off is the part that was hooped with that last panel. The other no-show mesh parts we already cleaned up when we cut around and so we're just cleaning up right around here. We are not cutting any stitches. So many times if you see me demonstrating designs, I say, oops, I just cut my stitches. Yeah, don't cut your stitches. Because if you cut your stitches, you will be at the, I was wondering, why does this look different? Because it has quilting on it. I was like, I don't remember it not looking the same. This is quilted, this is not. Haha. But if you cut your stitches, you will be at the sewing machine. I don't know where my lint brush is, and I cut that minky on here, but I'll deal with it later. Let's keep going. So here is, let me back you guys up. Okay, so here is that lining, remember? So all we're doing is pushing it through and around. We're flipping it through so it ends up on the wrong side. So yep, just like that. So this is how it'll look, right? And I don't have my iron heated up. I didn't heat it. And so I'm not gonna worry about it right now. And then the other thing we'll do is we're flipping our pockets out, and we are done. We are done. I am even thinking another solution to having this lined is leaving this back panel off and ironing some HTV or something right on this. Haha. Or a piece of quilt cotton that already has some heat and bond light. And then you would have your lining all the way across. That, the more you do it, the more I do it, I will come up with some solutions. And so in my community, they kind of chuckle. I'm always saying you got to do things 10 times. I have a time or two left, and I promise you I will have some more solutions by the time I get through these next two. Some better plans. And so I just flip the pockets out. I can see where that one looks pretty good, but my little bootleg tag is a little bit crooked. It's just the way I put it in there. So I like that idea of just ironing something on there and leaving this center panel off, because we would iron this down, but this panel is only covering this middle part, which is okay. I just haven't come up with a better plan for that. And so this is the way it looks. This is the inside, upside down, like this. And I'm gonna grab a composition book. I'm gonna show you just the whole thing. We're already an hour in, so we might as well just hang out a few more minutes. And so I think I'm out of composition books. And so I will use the same one. So remember, I have a name on mine. And so this is the front cover. Just gonna slide it right in that pocket. And then we're gonna slide the back cover right in this pocket. And it is done. I'm gonna come up with a better plan for this thing. I could put a snap on this one and a snap on here. I can still take the composition cover off and pull the pocket back, and I can finagle a snap in there and just do it like that. That's probably what I'll end up doing. I just like the whole idea of the heart. If I could think of like a little slot there, and then the heart could stick out there. It looks like the quilting has my bear a little crooked, but look how cute that is. Look at that. These are her colors, my daughter's favorite color, and it's been her baby color. I tried to do a little brownish, but it's more like a golden, maybe a little bit of rose gold. I see a couple, look, I'm gonna go like this, and that means I'm looking for my glasses. I'm gonna back you guys up a little bit. I see some glasses. I probably have a pair at every turn in here. And I'm just gonna go like that and like that. I saw a piece there and I love it. So look at the finish of that. It looks really good. And so by having that panel in the middle, it just finishes up this seam right here. So I like the panel, but I might even like to put iron something in there. And so what I'm gonna do with these tabs, I don't know, but I would like to just punch a hole and put the little lock in. So that is it. That is done for the day. No problems. We got through the whole thing. So I am excited. And I did not share one last thing. Charleston. So he is one of my other new patterns. And so it's supposed to be Charleston and Charlotte. She has some cute little eyelashes, and here they are, Charleston and his little sister. And so I have big plans for Charleston and patterns like Charleston. So if you are and in the hooper and you like doing stuffies, I'm thinking about making those out of baby clothes, like some stretch onesie kind of material, some blankets, maybe some old baby blankets, using them for memory items. Like, I had a lot of plans for Charleston and Charlotte. And so that is it. We are 1 hour in, and I will see you guys next time. Leave me a comment if you're interested in testing. Click on the links for my Etsy store if you are interested in any pattern, and also for the school community. And the members of my school community have access to my patterns. So you can come to the community or go to my Etsy store. And if this video was helpful, please like, comment, and share. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.